As you might recall, we're building a new bridge to span over the creek that runs through the area. And what we've done so far is put a couple of coats of paint on the light steel beams and then brought them down to the creek. For the foundation, we used a system of concrete piers and pins. Put the beams in over the piers. We ran our 2x6 cedar decking over the top to cover the framing. Then for the sides, we used 3 different pieces of cedar to cover the framing. Now we don't want anybody tumbling over the edge of the bridge, so the next step is to put in some railings. Now we have a 32-foot bridge, so it's going to work out perfectly to put 5 posts on each side, separating 4 8-foot sections. Well, Michael Leardahl is one of the guys here that's going to help us get familiar with the system. So Michael, you want to walk us through the components you have going on here?
Sure, be happy to. We have a bottom rail, we've got a top rail, and you'll notice that the fasteners for the balusters, which I have here, are all connected already.
Okay.
Then we have a post with a welded bottom for attachment to the deck surface, or in this case, the bridge. One of the unique things is this bracket for holding the top rail. We have a 2-piece system. Bottom rail applies, and then we have a piece that just slides over and covers it, so you're able to hang this right from the top with no muss, no fuss. The bottom bracket is also unique. It slides on before installation like that. What's unique about it is there's a 12-degree angle, so when the drill bit applies, it's not going to scratch up the bottom rail. They are all aluminum, and then we finish them with a powder coat paint.
Now installation for this should go pretty quickly.
Yes, they do. It'll take about a half an hour a section, primarily due to these unique fasteners that we've got on there.
Great.
Now to get this railing started, we're going to center in our posts. The whole idea is we have 5 posts equally spaced, so our railings are approximately the same size.
Well, Aaron Lambrecht was here helping us with the piers, but he also knows a little something about this railing system. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you are attaching these posts with a couple different fasteners.
Yeah, we're using a 4-inch stainless leg bolt with nuts and washers, and then we're also using a 1/4-inch galvanized leg screw on the outside right into the cedar.
Okay, and the bolt's going in through the steel.
Correct. That'll give a nice positive connection.
Now, once you're done with that, then you cover the fasteners with this piece of trim.
Yeah, a nice cast aluminum base will slide right over the post, all the way down, and cover up all the fasteners and give it a nice clean look.
Now, once your posts are in, you can cut your rails to fit in between them, but you want to make sure that you cut an equal amount on both sides, and here's why. The rails have these connectors already attached on both the top and the bottom, so however much you need to cut off the rails, just take that, divide it by 2, and cut that off of each end to keep everything looking balanced. Now with longer lengths like these, it's important to have a little bit of support underneath the bottom rail. So that takes the same connector as the balusters. Just put a couple in there and you'll be well supported. We're putting in the connectors now, but the supports themselves get cut and installed later on after we determine the heights that we need. Okay, we are all set to attach our balusters to the rails of this particular section. What seems to work best is to attach the balusters to the bottom rail first, pound them all in, and then we'll take our top rail and lay it right over the top. Once we get to this point, it's actually going pretty quickly because we have different people doing different jobs. Some people are cutting, some people are putting the balusters on the rails, some people are attaching the rail section to the bridge. So it's kind of like a little assembly line. A couple other things that we need at this point are the brackets for the ends of the bottom rail, and then the bracket covers the ends of the top rail. Okay, all set?
We're ready. Let's check it and see if it fits.
Now we have these in the saddles. What's next?
We need to put 2 screws in both of the lower brackets,
Okay.
making sure that the rail is centered on the post. The last thing we do is run 1 screw up from the bottom side on the top bracket, and that locks the top rail into place. And then we'll put a piece of double stick tape on here, where this piece then slides over the saddle and locks in place. And that's the end of the installation.
On to the next one.
On to the next section.
So those are the basic steps to putting together these panels. Of course, the very last thing we need to do is put a couple caps right on top of the posts, like so. Of course, once you start, it might take a little while to kind of get the hang of all these pieces and putting them together, but once you get going, it goes really fast.
The railing system is going together quite well. Once we got rolling, everybody kind of figured out which parts are what, and we got a little system going. It's actually going together very nice.
What's nice about this, that we can have a lot of people doing it. We have 8 sections, 10 posts, so there's a lot of stuff to do. And Aaron's doing a pretty good job of kind of splitting people up, so we're all busy. And the overall goal is to get done before we pass out from the heat.
heat index of 105, and we're in the shade.
Well, we'd like to thank Michael, Aaron, and Brian for coming and giving us a hand, and I'd say it's looking really, really nice.